Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm working on the Fit yet again. I know there's been a lot of Fit content lately. I guess I just have a lot to do to it. And today I'm doing the wheel trail arm bushings where they bolt the trail arm to the subframe of the car. Those like to get soft and brittle. These cars are getting pretty old. My driver's side is cracked, so I figured it'd be a good time to replace them. Not looking forward to it. Okay, I'm using the Super Pro bushing kit. It comes in 3 pieces, so when you press out the old solid piece, you can press it in together in 3 different pieces. Hopefully it fits. Big disclaimer, if you have a GD3 Honda Fit, do not buy these. These do not fit. Stay tuned in the video to find out why. Okay, there's 2 different ways you can do this. The hard way or the harder way. I think I'm going to do it the harder way. So this is the bearing in question. Probably can't see, but mine is cracked a little bit. It's not bad, but probably should be replaced. I believe the slightly easier way to do it, less hard way, is to take these bolts out, take this lower bracket out and a few other things and swing it down to get to that bearing, which in order to get that bearing out, you have to have a press tool, you gotta have an L hammer, chisel, sawzalls, file. Those don't come out very easy, so a lot of people will sawzall the center of it out and use an L hammer chisel to ram it out, which you don't have a whole lot of room to do. If you do this on the car, or if you put in a factory bearing, you can use a tool like this to press it in. I didn't really need it much for these. But even to do that, you gotta disconnect your wheel suspension, undo some of the brake lines and hoses, and essentially take half this apart. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take the whole thing out and attempt to use my press to press them out. I figured since I'm already doing the camber shims and my whole brake assembly is going to have to be disconnected from the brakes anyway, doing the extra few steps to take the whole thing out isn't much more, I guess. Still gonna be a pain. Okay, I got my brake assembly off. I got my new camber shims in, so that part is done. If you want to know how to do this, I do have a video. I'll post a link up there. But while I was doing this, I realized I have one little negative thing in my plan, is like the brake line is attached to this guy, to the trailing arm, which means I would have to disconnect the brake line to take it out. So that sucks. That means I'm going to have to rebleed the rear brakes at least. Not the end of the world. Okay, I know this little bracket guy has to come out, so I'll go ahead and take that guy out. Then I'll probably start working on the suspension. The springs have to come out, and the bolt for the shocks. Maybe the exhaust. Okay, I got the exhaust just kind of dangling, hanging out. I took the suspension out, but I put the bolts back in to support the trailing arm, but the bolt is just barely threaded on there, just to support it. I got these little low support beam thingies off. Those are all 14 mils. I am going to have to do something with the fuel stuff, this fuel line that goes up here. So I'm going to take this plastic panel off and see what's under there. Okay, I got the little plastic piece off. There's a 10 mil bolt for a clamp, 10 mil bolt for a clamp here, and one way up there. Take those up, and I think I gotta take like the fuel cap assembly off. I don't know, never done this before. I'll find out when I get there. Okay, I took a few of my clamps off, and with this guy, it just presses into the rubble. There's nothing that actually holds it in there. I did have to take this bracket off that goes around here, and to get this guy out, there's a tight fit. You have to push on it pretty hard towards the car to slide it out, but it will come out. Hopefully that's enough to get the beam out. But I think all that's left holding it up is the two brake lines. Gotta disconnect those. I probably disconnected here, and the actual bolts themselves for the bushings that I'm replacing. Okay, I got my brake lines disconnected. I have them clamped. Hopefully too much air will get to them. Last thing to do is the big bolts. I do plan on having a jack stand under this side and a jack on this side to support it so the whole thing doesn't go crashing down. Then I might need a second hand to bring it out. This is a 19 mil. It's a long boy. I did use a breaker ball to break it loose. Oops. Let's try that again. Another long boy. Now let's see if I can wiggle this bitch out. Hey, I got the whole beam out. That was fun. Looking at this bushing, it was ended up being torn as well, just on the back side where I can't see it. It's torn here. Let's look at this one. This one's not as bad on the back side. I guess that's not. There's a tail there. There's also a tail on the front side. And that was the fun part. We haven't even got to the hard part yet. Now we actually gotta get those bearings out. A lot of people will take like a sawzall or something and gnaw and essentially destroy all the rubber bits to get the center, the metal portion out of it. Then once it's out of it, then you can work on pressing it out. Even though it took a little while, I've got the rubber center out. Now you can see the lip. You gotta press this guy out. So my original plan was to use my press, but these can only be pressed in and out in one direction. It has to go that way, pressed out. And if I was to press it that way, my vise would be way too low to the ground. So that's not gonna work. Another thing you can do is cut the race in half. So you see, you might be able to see I have a line now. Keep on going until you cut the bearing in half, but you have to be careful not to cut into this guy itself. You don't want to mess that guy up. Yeah, I got my bearing out, one of them out anyway. I ended up cutting it down one side. Once I got it cut, I used a chisel to chisel and kind of spread the bearing in half. And once I had that, I have this little press tool that I use this plus a hammer to knock it the rest of the way out. Wasn't too bad, but I did go a little too deep in the heel. That sucks, but it's the least of my problems right now. Because unfortunately, I did all that work, got it done, and this guy doesn't even fit in more than one way. As you can see, this is a lot fatter than this hole. Probably see it better on this one. See the difference? Yeah, I don't think that's going to squeeze into there. Not only is it too fat, it's also too long. See how much overhang I have? And that's not all. And since it's too long, The spatial is also way too long. There's no way this guy is going in there. So I brought out the micrometer and did some measurements. The subframe that this goes into is 3.073. This guy is 3.5, so 0.5 oval. That's not going to work. The old bushings diagonal this way is 2.56. And this guy is 2.83. Definitely not going to work. And the widthways should be the same as the spatial. I have sent an email to Super Pro about it. And apparently this isn't a one-off thing. Apparently another friend of mine also had this issue, and he had to trim these down himself. So I might end up having to do that. Luckily I have a bandsaw and a few other cutting tools to maybe trim this guy shorter and also trim this guy shorter, but it's the outer diameter that's going to be hard. Because if I have a lathe, that's going to be hard. So I might have to get creative with that. Okay, I got one down. Now I gotta work on this guy. I gotta chop about 0.3 off of it on all four sides. This didn't work very well on this, but it did work good to put a little groove on it to give me a good cutting line. That guy pretty much dulled instantly, and also the blade's kind of thick, which messed up my cutting line, which made it where I cut a little too much off. I might have to put like a little washer between that and the subframe. Of course the cutting wheel, where you at? I don't know. Obviously worked the best. When in doubt, cutting wheel. Now I might try to do the same thing. Put a board to line this up and cut it through. Let's hope this works. Hey, it fits. That's good. But those were the easy parts. I got one less thing to do. It's still too fat to go in, so I'm gonna have to shave it down on the sides now. Now it's time to really get creative.
One eternity later. One hour later.
Okay, I got the second one shaved down. Made quite a mess at it. Not like I molded a smurf or something. But they all look like they should fit if I lube it up and squeeze it. I just hope I took enough off for it to fit in there. It should. Where's my hair? Am I going grey or blue? But I will say my ghetto lathe is working pretty good. It is still time consuming. I'll probably have an hour to each of these. So 2 hours for that. And I still have to do the whole other side. I haven't even taken off this side yet. Because I want to make sure this all works before he misses this side. But once I get the process down, should we go a little bit faster on the second side. Next is to clean these up and press them in. Got everything lubed up. Hey, my press tool worked pretty good. Got that to go in, but huge gap in there. I guess I trimmed a little too much. I think I didn't account for the bevel. As you can see, this little bevel here. I should have took more of it out, but it's kind of hard doing it the way I'm doing it. If I had a lathe, I could probably do it. But since that bevel's there, it makes this wider than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, this is still not going to fit. So yeah. So what I'm going to end up doing is trimming this guy off. Hey, those are finally done. Look like I killed a smurf. It only took me literally all day to shave these guys down. Long process. This one came out a lot better. The gap between the two is a lot smaller. I only shaved this much off one of them, which is about 1.8 of an inch. So not too much. Yeah, all I have to do is put the bushing in. This guy will be ready to go back in the car. Which I'll do that tomorrow, because it's late. Hey, it's a new day. Now I gotta put all this guy back in there. Hopefully I can do this by myself. Things a little heavy. And I got a lot of stuff to avoid. So let's give it a shot. Okay, it wasn't too bad getting the subframe, but the trailing arm back to it fell through the jack. But that side went in pretty easy. But then that side apparently had to hammer in. So I had to take that side off to get that side in, hammer it in. Once I got that side in, then this side gave me a headache. Like, you know, on this side the hole was like way back here. And even hammering it and stuff, I couldn't get it to line up, so I had to put a ratchet strap around the trailing arm to the front lower control arm, you see, in the front, and use the ratchet to slowly ratchet it in place, then use the jack to push it back up. Then I was able to get that hole to line up. Sometimes you gotta work smarter, not harder. That worked out. I'm not going to completely tighten those bolts yet until the car is at drive height for level. Then you torque those bolts down Now I'm just gonna put everything back together. Hopefully it all goes smooth. Hey, everything's backed in, all secured. The only thing that's left is I gotta rebead the brakes, fun, and put the wheels back on, and then torque these guys. I did a lot of googling. I couldn't find the exact torque for it, but I figured somewhere between 50 and 60 should be pretty good for that size bolt, so I just went to 60. That sounds good. That sounds good. Hey, it is done. The only thing left to do is take it for a test drive, make sure nothing weird is going on, make sure anything I took off and put back on is weird, quirky. Kind of doubt I'll be able to feel any major differences with these bushings on driving around the street and stuff. It might be a little stiffer or something, but hopefully it serves me better on the track. Less playback though, less bounciness. Okay, I'm back from my test drive. Car did pretty good. I can definitely feel the wheeling a little stiffer. Hopefully it's not too stiff going around the corners. But other than that, felt pretty normal, about the same. I've had to do this again. First of all, I'll try to find a different brand. And second of all, I probably wouldn't have done it unless my bearings were a little bit more shot than what they were. Or maybe gone with another OEM style bearing. Hey, that's not the fit. This car's been sad because it's been out in the outside in the carport for a while now, since the cars essentially take turns coming in the garage to get worked on, and this one's been sitting up for a while, so it's been sad. So I figured I'd clean it up and bring it back in the garage. I need to do something with it because it hasn't been on our channel for a while. But yeah, if you decide to get these, be prepared to do a lot of additional work. I looked up trying to find another brand. This is the only thing that came up except for this, I think it was called Sebastian, I think. They were like 45 days on back order, and that's even if they still make them. So yeah, I'm not sure if there is another company that makes them. So if you decide to go this route, hope you have a machine shop. I think these were meant for GE fits, which is generation after the GDs, the after mine. I think these fit for those, but not for the GD3s. Also swapped out my camber plates, so I have a little bit less hot boy camber in the wheel. Also, like I said in the beginning, towards the beginning of the video, you don't have to take the trailing arm out like I did. If you have like a bearing press tool, kind of like this, you can do it on the car. You can press the bearing out and in. Which you might still have to do something similar to what I did to get it out, cut it out. A lot of people use, like I said, a L chisel, L hammer to lock it out, which you do risk gnawing out the inside as well as that. So yeah, my method isn't the only way. So this video feels like it's getting long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. If you're into fits and doing more modifications to your fits, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like K-Swap FRSs and other fun stuff, still hit the button. And I will see you next time. Peace.